strength issue. I know some people like to go 6, some people like to go 5. If that's what you want to do recreationally, have fun with it, but it's not just a strength issue, it's also the fact that this stuff, when it gets used, when it gets dirty, does lose some strength. And I also want something robust enough that I can grip it and haul on it if I need to as well. So we've gone with 7 mil as our smallest diameter, just for personal Prussic cord. We're going to loosely tie a figure 8 on a bite in the end here. And I want about a 20 centimeter bite, so I need a pretty big loop here. So about 20 centimeters in here will give you enough to do a 2 or 3 wrap Prussic. But we're not there yet. To tie the medium Prussic, I'll take that, put it under my foot, typically wearing the boots I'm going to wear when I'm going to be using this. And I want this end brought up to about level with my inseam. Some people might like it another 5 centimeters or so a little higher, but somewhere in that neighborhood. Take the cord across your boot. Where it crosses right there, mark that spot. That's going to become the middle of your long bite here. And what I would do is if I was making one of these for myself, I'd be cutting the cord here shortly. So what I do is I'd measure out how much cord I need to tie the end of this long piece here back through that figure 8, and then I'd cut it off right here. When I do that, I would end up with something that looks like this. As I say, I keep this pre-rigged on my harness. And that's what it looks like. I took that bigger bite and turned it into a Prussic on itself. For ascending, this becomes my foot loop. I put my foot in there, cinch that down. It's not going to tighten on my foot, so I'm not going to worry about getting my foot crushed. I've still got a nice big bite in here, so I can turn that into a Prussic as part of my ascending system. We'll get to that in a moment. What I want to do is show you how I've modified the Purcell Prussic to give me some additional capacity. For the various things that I want to be able to do in a mountain rescue environment, I want a 6-meter length of 7-millimeter cord to use as a cordlet for a variety of things. There's many things I can do with this, so I leave it untied, ready to go for any one of those functions. But in order to turn it into part of a Purcell Prussic system, what I'm going to do is take it under my foot, take one end up to the tip of my nose, take a bite up to the top of my head, put those together like so. Oops. Take the long tail here, bring it up to the other 3 strands, and what I want is a bite that goes down to about my inseam again, and about there, and then I bring those 4 strands together and tie them all together into one big figure 8. So I've got 4 strands of cord going through that figure 8. Dress it, set it, make it nice, neat, and tidy. And you'll see I end up with 3 bites coming out of this knot. One that goes up, that's what I'm going to use to Prussic onto the rope with. 2 that go down, one that's going to be long and one that's going to be short. The long one, I want to turn that into a Prussic on itself. 2 wraps is fine. Stuff all of this through there. And I've got my 2 Purcell Prussics. When I put them on the rope, anybody remember what the acronym is that we were using?
Short, long, medium.
Right. Short's the top, long, and then medium. But it makes it easier if you actually put them on the rope in the reverse order. Otherwise, I'll have one hanging up here that's in the way while I'm trying to tie this one. So I'll just put the medium on first. Again, I can go with 2 wraps. If that's going to grab for me and hold, then 2 is fine. If it's a slick cord or slick rope and a 2 wrap isn't holding, then I can go with 3 wraps if I need to. I've still got enough cord in here to do that. So there's medium. There's long. new cord, I'm going to go with 3 wraps. You'll notice I've got a little extra long tail here because somebody my size doesn't need the extra cord. Somebody taller might. But by measuring them off of my height and my build, I end up with a set of Prussics that are optimized for ascending. Nice and efficient climbing. So we've got those two. I've got a short Prussic here, I just need to tie it off.
Do you always leave your Prussics untied? Well,
I do.
just from the standpoint of worrying about dirt and moisture in there.
No, I do other things with this cord that are benefited by having it untied.
Okay.
And that way, again, I have more versatility. When I'm going into a mountain rescue environment, I want a few tools that do a bunch of things. So I have to carry fewer things. But it may mean I need to do a bit of pre-rigging when I want to use it in one capacity or another. Again, it's up to you whether or not you're ascending free hanging, vertical. I won't go over too much about how to actually do the climbing. I'm just going over the rigging right now. Okay, so I've got 2 foot loops for climbing, which makes it far more efficient, far more stable, easier to climb than a lot of the single foot Prussic techniques that you've seen in various books. But what's modified here, what's different over the standard Purcell Prussic, is that I end up with second harness attachment out of one of my leg loops. This second bite here can go into my harness. As well as my short Prussic. Which, depending on what I'm going to do, is going to be either upper or lower. So now I'm ready to climb. 3 Prussics. Much more efficient. Oops. So I'm going to say if it's going to slip, I need to do a 3 wrap Prussic there. That is modified Purcell Prussic. Any questions on that?
So Bob, that's for more for slope, or because you don't sometimes you put the top plate to your chest for a straight vertical.
Yeah, if I was climbing sloping rock, like 60-degree rock or something like that, I'd take this Prussic into my seat harness. And that makes climbing a little more comfortable, a little more, well, actually less efficient, but more comfortable. Because with your Prussic down here, you're doing a lot of alternating from the standing to the seated position, and you're losing a lot of efficiency that way. If I take this Prussic on a vertical climb, into my chest harness or into my connector here, I can climb vertical or free hang more efficiently because now I'm not alternating between seating and standing. When I'm hanging in this, I'm more vertical, so I'm more efficient when I climb that way. But it would be less comfortable if I were climbing, 60-degree rock or something like that. So it's just something to keep in mind. And you'll notice all of my Prussics are relatively low down here. What I often see are people who tie their Prussics way up here and then can't efficiently or effectively push them up. And you get to the lip and you can't get up and over the lip because the cliff lip has reached your Prussics here and you're nowhere near getting up and over. So by having your Prussics lower down, you're much more efficient because I can pull them up more effectively with my muscles than I can pushing Prussics up a few inches at a time. And when I get to that lip, I can be up to here and actually be able to get up and over a lot more easily than if my Prussics are any higher. Any questions?